Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Maurice, also known as that pastor who lives. I'm a campus pastor and a fitness competitor. I'm originally from the historical city of Selma, Alabama, right outside of Montgomery. My upbringing was fairly unique. My mom did everything that she possibly could to move me and my grandparents from the projects in Selma, Alabama, to a more stable living condition. That move was good for quality of life as far as living, but it wasn't good for the quality of life, for the experiences that I had. I found that I ended up having to deal with a lot of prejudice, racism, and maltreatment. I remember as a young boy walking home from school, there was times where I would hear the knob tires and the loud pipes, and there would be teenage boys in the back of the trucks. They were urinating in beer bottles, and they would fling the urine on me while I was walking home from school. It kind of created a complex that I would hear these tires and I would hear the pipes, and I would hide in a ditch every time I would try to walk home from school. And it was really interesting because I never really got angry. As a matter of fact, instead of being angry, I ended up growing up confused. I was confused because I didn't understand why people would treat people like that. Because my grandparents couldn't really bridge that generational gap and to be able to communicate with me in a way that was effective for me. It created a need for Maurice. And this need for me was I needed more barriers. I needed more structure. I needed more discipline. The barriers for me were so broad, and I found myself with a whole lot of wiggle room in life, and it caused me to be able to venture out into things that I'm really not proud of. I knew I needed something, and I didn't know exactly what it was. And I remember one day when life had got the worst that it possibly can get. I remember finding myself homeless after dropping out of college after 2 years. And I was standing in front of a Piggly Wiggly in Selma, Alabama, and I was shaking this bell for Salvation Army. And I remember seeing this Marine Corps recruiter come walking across the parking lot. And the guy looked like he floated on air when he walked. His uniform was pristine. He walked with so much confidence. His chest was lifted, his head and eyes were straight forward. I remember saying in the back of my mind, I need to know who that guy is. And he showed me this one video where I used to see the Silent Drill team who was doing their performance. I was sold from day one. The precision, the togetherness, the esprit de corps, the brotherhood, working as one single unit to accomplish one particular goal. I was sold. I didn't care about anything else. I didn't care about how much hard work I had to do. I didn't care about boot camp. I didn't care about what job I was gonna get. All I wanted to do is I wanted to be a part of something bigger than myself. It wasn't just the mystique. It wasn't just the title. It wasn't just the experience. But for me, it was also the values. It was also the family aspect of what the Marine Corps gave me and what it introduced into my life. And this began to set somewhat of a standard for me. Being exposed to so much intensity. The thing about the Marine Corps is that the Marine Corps exposes and it magnifies who you are. And so for this, I knew that there was problems in my life. It really revealed a certain level of brokenness that I had. And this brokenness, I only found one way for me to be able to deal with that. And that was through my relationship with Christ. And so I became an avid follower of Christ. I submitted my life to Christian discipleship. And later on, I actually accepted the call into ministry because I actually had a passion for others to know what this life with Christ was all about, what the knowledge was in God's word, and how we can actually become better people if we were to submit our life to Him. By me being so ingrained in the military and so transformed by the military, that now Maurice has challenges. And these challenges now, after I retired, they were not just regular challenges. We're not talking about things like the normal issues that most of us Marines were dealing with. I started battling with depression. I started dealing with PTSD, anxiety. I was diagnosed with clinical insomnia. I had the common gunny problems, things like 3 herniated discs and reconstructive shoulder surgery, bad knees, and ruptured Achilles. And then even to add on to that, I suffered from something that most people don't even hear about, and it's phantom smells. I literally at times could smell like someone standing right next to me, smoking a cigarette. Another problem that I actually developed was an eating disorder. And I was so embarrassed by the quality of food that I was eating that I would never bring it into the office. So I was sitting in the parking lot at my job and I would just eat. It didn't really dawn on me the problem that I had until after a couple of months, in little to no time, I started to gain weight. And I went from 196, 197 pounds in Marine Corps standards, and I gained 30 pounds and I found myself at about 227, 230. And it didn't click until one day I got out of the shower and I'm drying off with that towel. And up jumped the boogie. There it was. It was 30 pounds and some good loving. It was all over my body. And it was crazy because I never really saw it gradually happen. It was just one day, and boom, it clicked. And so I had to get to the point where Maurice had to stop making excuses for what Maurice didn't have. Maurice needed to stop making excuses for the life that Maurice was living. Maurice needed to stop making excuses and stop thinking like I had victory in areas of my life that I didn't have victory. And I needed to make some very, very tangible changes, something that was going to really, really show that Maurice was making some significant adjustments. And so I challenged myself to grow mentally, physically, and spiritually. Pursuing these goals, to me, that is being a 3D leader. It's being a three-dimensional leader, and it's not typical, it's not normal, it's actually unaverage. And I know that's a word that you hardly ever hear, but it was an unaverage experience. And so that birthed a passion in me and a vision for what I like to call the unaverage experience. It's where you get a chance to partner with pastors and senior leaders and to help them to be able to develop a fit culture in their own personal lives. Because one, as pastors, a lot of people don't think we need help. We speak into the lives of other people, and we encourage other people. We're praying for other people. We're visiting the sick and the shut-in, and we're doing all these wonderful things. And a lot of times when you see us, it's like, oh, you don't need help because you are the helper. But that is actually far from the truth. And so as pastors, I wanted to help them to be able to get their life and regain control because their life spirals out of control because they're so busy trying to help other people that they forget about themselves. And oftentimes we don't eat well. We definitely don't have fitness as a part of our regime. And when it comes to actually developing ourselves, a lot of our life is put on standby, put on hold because the church becomes our primary responsibility. And so for us, we need to be able to get to a point to where there's someone who has a passion to speak into the lives of the pastors, to be able to help them to be able to create some sense of longevity, to have an opportunity where the unaverage experience and First Phorm be able to come together to be able to bring a certain level of education that we don't have when it comes to physical fitness, nutrition, supplementation, and to be able to bring the quality supplements that First Phorm can actually produce, it's unbelievable. But also to be able to bring in line with the core values of the unaverage experience and the core values of First Phorm. They go hand in hand. They're almost exactly the same. One, to be able to help other people, to be able to bring some level of support and education to them. The information is priceless. The knowledge base that First Phorm actually have about their products and supplementation is just second to none. But also to really be a part of something that's very authentic. And I think people really look for authenticity. They look for real people. And a lot of times people, especially for us as Christians, as pastors especially, we get a bad rap when it comes to being authentic and being real. And so being an approachable person, being a person that is real and tangible and not on this cloud nine somewhere. I'm about the realest guy that you'll ever want to meet. But to be able to bring that level of authenticity to the table and be real. And I love about First Phorm is that it's just a band of out-of-the-box people who are genuinely, authentically themselves. There's very few masks. And you have vets, you have police officers, you have soccer moms, working dads, just real people who have real goals, who are in the real struggle. I am a full-time servant student leader. And that means that I spend my time serving and loving on other people to be able to help them to be able to accomplish the goals that they have. When I say student leader, because I lead by learning. I learn more from the people that I lead than they learn from me. I'm an avid follower of Christ. I don't wear my Christianity on my sleeve. I don't browbeat people, and I'm not a Bible thumper. I'm a life and wellness coach. As a coach, I want to come alongside people and really help them accomplish the goals that they have. I'm a retired Marine Corps vet. Being a retired veteran, it was a huge honor to serve my country. I had a life of service, 20 years of serving and devoted to my country. And to be able to transition and transfer those same tangible and intangible qualities over into First Phorm by being an elite athlete, it would be a continuation of a huge honor. I am a husband of one, a father of two, and a caring friend. And this is why I also believe that I am First Phorm.
Bye.